What's going on, vloggers, bloggers, and everyday Twitter users? I decided to, do a second part to this updates of Doom. I think where we left off and everything. So shortly after all that shit happened and everything like that, I ended up basically my mom ended up realizing I was using and stuff like that. And she was all like, "Hey, let's go to rehab," and I was like, "Yeah, let's do that." But not really. But either way, I ended up going. And, it was this crazy thing where, she was like, "Oh, let's go check it out." And then I was like, "Cool, Z's." And then I totally just ditched her ass and shit like that. So eventually I ended up going to rehab and everything, and that was cool. I got paid for it because, I had 129 sick hours when I was at Sam's Club. Man, I worked my ass off when I was at that place. I mean, really, I really did. I worked my ass off. I mean, I had 126 personal hours. I had 119 sick hours, and then I had 200 something ridiculous hours of fucking vacation time, and they just all grandfathered over, and so yeah. When I was in rehab, because it was medical time, technically, and, fuck Sam's Club, to be honest. Fuck Walmart, to be honest, because, I became a liability after I got out, but we'll get to that later. So, I did my tour at rehab, and I loved it. I was so into NA and stuff like that, but, I'm a non-religious person, and I can't grasp the concept of religion and God, and I mean, I've just been so much into science my whole entire life that I can't really concept and grasp the concept. So the whole entire higher power thing just, So, I got out of rehab, and what is the first thing I did when I get out of rehab? Use, So I shove money in my bank account. I get out. Nobody's there to pick me up when I get out of rehab, which is absolutely fucking fantastic. Because, if there's one thing you can do when it comes to getting out of rehab, you need a support structure, somebody to be there for you when you get out and stuff like that. That just seems like something people should do. You got a friend and they're going to rehab, support them. Don't not be there to pick them up. Because they did something. They're going to feel good about that thing that they did. And, support them. When I got out of rehab, nobody was there to pick me up. The rehab facility actually paid for the cab to just take me home. And I was just left alone in my own shits to do and everything. It's kind of like I got put in rehab. I was there. I did my thing. And then before you know, that's it. First thing I did, I got home, looked at my room. I remembered I fucking had a jar underneath my bed, a mason jar, that had syringes in it, cottons in it, and fresh water in it. And then, before you know it, here we go. Dealer, let me get a fucking gram. Boom. Back to use again. I fucking shot up that day, that night, that everything. And it sucks because, I feel like if I would have had somebody pick me up and, kind of give me positive reinforcement and stuff like that. So, 2-3 days go by where I'm not using, but I use the rest of my gram. At this point, I'm not going through any withdrawal or anything like that because, I'm not full on addicted again. Or not necessarily full on addicted. I'm not full on, into it again to get the withdrawal. But, whatever. So I go back to work. My official day to go back to work. I go to work. I do my same job. I bust my ass just like usual. Everybody's like, "Oh, we're glad to have you back. We're glad to have you back." And everything like that. So, I end up kind of getting back with Victoria in a kind of way. Not really. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, I ended up hanging out with this girl from rehab named Shelby Towner, and fuck, I didn't mean to say your actual name. But yeah, either way. So, me and her, we start banging. She's all super cute and blah, blah, blah. And then we end up using together. And then figures out she's banging all my friends in the background. And she's so cute. I give her my Coheed shirt. She was all like, "Oh, I'm gonna wear your Coheed shirt and look all sexy for you and like something that you like." But it's fucking trash. So what ended up happening? Yeah, like me and her did a thing, and then she just fucking straight up disappeared. And figures out she overdosed in some car. I haven't seen her since. Apparently, she's happy, married, has babies. I don't care, whatever. So I ended up hitting Victoria up again, or she hit me up. I ended up using again. And then I go to work fucking blasted. And I feel like I wasn't high enough for them to know, but they knew. But they knew. Like, you know how it goes. If somebody's high as shit, you can just tell. So, I get a call from the GM, and he's all like, "Hey, you have a meeting. It's part of all, like, non-policy drug shit. It's cool. We get you're an addict. It's a disease and everything like that. So you have rights, but you just have to, go and talk to corporate with me and say that you're willing to take these drug tests and everything like that." And I'm like, "That's fine. Let's go do that shit." So I get off of work. It's like 6:30 in the morning, right when I get off work, because I work third shift at the time, and the meeting's at like, I think it's like 8:30 or something like that. So I see the GM coming in. It's probably around 7, and he's like, I said, "Should I just stay, or should I go home, relax for a little while, and then come back?" And he said, "Well, just do what you think is right." And I was like, "Okay." So I went ahead and head home. I rode my bike, or no, I didn't ride my bike. I got the bus, because the buses didn't even start running until like 7. So I got the bus. I go home. I pass out. I don't drink. I don't use. I don't do anything. I fucking get home and I pass out. Fucking wake up. It's like 8:15. I gotta be there at 8:30. I call my manager and I'm like, "Dude, I'm gonna call a cab. I came home and I passed out. I'm so sorry. I'll be there. Just give me a minute. Let me call a cab. I'll be there. I might be like 15 minutes late at least." And then he's like, "Hey man, don't even worry about it. Just come in your next scheduled day." And I'm like, I have the next 2 days off. You just want me to come in after that? And he's like, "Yeah, do that." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So the next 2 days happen. I just hang out, watch movies, eat food, drink some beer, whatever. And then all of a sudden I go back to work, and I'm walking into work. It's third shift. Like I said, it's like 10:30 at night. I fucking walk in, and then right before I can get to that time clock and go boop and put my numbers in, somebody snags me up, and they're like, "Hey, come to the office." And I'm like, that's a big red flag. Any job you ever had, you fucking get there, or not get there, sorry, I'm slurring my words, but you get snagged up before you clock in, that means you're getting fired. That's just the reality of the situation. So like I was saying, I get snagged up, and I'm just sitting here like, fuck. So, sorry, my cat. It's Beelzebub over there. Sorry. Back to the conversation, or back to the story. I'm just sitting there just like, fuck. And, they're just sitting there like, "Oh man, you were such a good worker, but you're still using." I'm like, I'm not high right now. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But I feel like they knew, like I said, from that one night and everything like that. Because, I did a shot that one night and blah, 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 and everything, but I hadn't used in like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 days or something like that. And they're like, "Yeah, you're a liability at this point. You didn't come to your meeting. You weren't serious about it." And I was like, "No, I was just doing what Sam told me to do." Sam was the GM. And he told me to come in my next scheduled shift same time. And he was just like, "Well, here you are." And I was like, he's like, "You know what? This isn't the end." And I'm sitting here fucking crying because I just lost a fucking job that I've had for 5 years. Had my fucking forklift license. Did all the shits there. Honestly. and everything like that. So like I'm just sitting here, I'm just tearing up. And then even one of the managers that had known me for those 5 years is like sitting there like she's crying too, and like I'm like we're just feeding off of each other's emotions, like crying because I didn't know what to do. It's just like, Jared, this isn't the end. This isn't the end. So they print me off this fucking check. That's like $2 grand because of all the personal time and everything like that I had amassed over the 5 years. And what did I say earlier? You don't fucking give a heroin addict $3 grand or $2 grand or whatever. So I had already fucked my sister Brandy over really bad at this point. So I got home. I went to Walmart after I got fired. I cashed the check, and what do you call it? I gave $1,000 in cash to my sister right off. Even counted it off. She had this horrific fucking boyfriend at the time. I mean, he's a piece of shit. She's broken up with him. But no, it's crazy. I get there, and then the next thing I do is I shut my door. I climb out of the window, and I call my dealer, and I use. Because, I mean, what else are you going to do? You're in a shitty-ass situation. I mean, that's it. I mean, it sucks, so I get fucking shitty high and everything like that. I don't even know. I think I woke up the next day. I started filling out applications. I ended up getting this job at this place called Silicon Whitecap. And when I was there, I started dating this girl. Can't remember her name for the life of me, but I ran into her at the bar one night, and then we just started dating, and the relationship went really smooth. I didn't use, I drank and I smoked weed with her and stuff like that. But and it was weird, but shortly after that, I ended up, running back into Victoria, and then there you go. She was all like, because she was already a manipulator when it came down to it. She was like, oh, you got all this money, get me heroin, and I'll get you high too. You can use my heroin. Yeah. So I ended up cheating on this girl with Victoria, and at the time, I thought I was so fucking in love. I mean, no, I think I was at Silicon Whitecap for probably 6 months. I was making $13.50 an hour, dude, pulling $800 checks. I mean, it was crazy. And then shortly after that, all of a sudden I get back to Victoria, and she's like, oh, work a fat sandwich. And I'm like, yeah. So I started working at Fat Sandwich with Joe, one of my best friends for the longest fucking time. And stuff like that. My pay grade goes automatically down to $7.75 at the time. And, yeah, that's where I'm going to end it for the second part, because I can keep going and everything like that, but I'm going to end it right here. We'll upload a video later. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening.